We start with that breaking news this morning. The Sydney to Hobart yacht race has taken a tragic turn, with 2 people losing their lives overnight. Police say 2 crew members on separate yachts were struck by sail booms. Their fellow crew tried to perform CPR, but neither competitor could be revived.
Race organisers have named the vessels as Flying Fish Arctos and Bowline, with both being directed to the New South Wales south coast, adding their thoughts are with the crew, friends and family of the deceased. More than 7 boats have now been retired, including race favourite Master Lock Commanche, which has suffered mainsail damage. For more, let's go to reporter Myles Houlbrook-Walk in Sydney. We also have reporter Josh Duggan in Hobart. Myles, to you first. What can you tell us about these tragic deaths?
Well, Emma, it's tragic, just as you say. So the first incident was just off the coast of Ulladulla, 30 miles southeast, nautical miles that is, I should note, and that's where Flying Fish Arctos had this incident where a sail boom hit one of the members on board the vessel, and it was there that crew tried to provide CPR but were unable to revive them. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority then deployed to help them take this boat to Jervis Bay, where it's expected to arrive just about now, any moment now really. It's scheduled for 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. It's just gone past that now here in New South Wales. Now, 2 hours later, a separate vessel, Bowline from South Australia, ran into trouble where again a sail boom hit one of its members aboard, and it was there that again CPR failed. So 2 eerily similar incidents but not at all related. Now in that instance it was New South Wales Police who deployed just off Bateman's Bay and are helping escort that vessel now to Bateman's Bay. Obviously investigations will take place into further circumstances. Now, as you mentioned off the top, race organisers have expressed sincere and deep condolences for these 2 separate tragedies, but have not yet identified those on board. And part of the reason why is due to the fact that some family members are yet to be notified about this incident, and that process is still underway, as race organisers have told us in a statement just a short time ago. Now, open water racing can be a dangerous sport, but there have been many safety regulations put in place in the Sydney to Hobart, particularly after a major storm in 1998, which saw more than, or rather half a dozen people die in what was an incredibly tragic incident caused by a major storm. There was a coronial inquest that saw significant safety changes occur as a consequence, and no doubt the race organisers will be reviewing to see if any changes do need to be made as a result of these terrible tragedies.
Yeah, Myles, thank you. Josh, over to you now. It must be a really difficult time for the rest of the competitors. But in terms of the race itself, there has been a pretty major withdrawal. What's happened?
Yeah, from a racing perspective, the big news is that Master Lock Commanche, the race record holder and at the time race leader, has withdrawn from the race. Shortly after 1 o'clock, the race organisers announced that they'd received reports of mainsail damage from Master Lock Commanche and they'd been forced to withdraw from the race. We're yet to hear much more from the crew on board the ship, but we'll be looking to see exactly what's happened to them, as they were travelling at a fair pace and at times yesterday ahead of the race record which they set back in 2017. It leaves Law Connect as now the race's leader. Law Connect was last year's winner in a tight tussle over Master Lock Commanche. So Law Connect is leading from Celestial and Wild Thing 100. The front ships are currently crossing Bass Strait and approaching the tip of Flinders Island. We're still expecting that they'll arrive sometime overnight tonight. Some of the ships that have been affected from withdrawals have also been the ones tussling for the overall honours. One of those was UGM Group, who was the race favourite and leading the overall at that point. They reported mainsail damage, with the navigator Alice Parker saying they heard a big bang and a collapse and realised that their race was over. Last year's winner, Alive, also was the first boat to pull out of this year's race just 3 hours in, and they had been attempting to win the race for a 3rd time overall, a Tasmanian boat. So it's all sections of the race have really been affected by retirements overnight through some pretty strong winds.
Josh in Hobart and Myles in Sydney, thanks for the update.
Multiple areas remain under emergency warnings in Victoria's west as a bushfire in the Grampians rages on. Reporter Alexander Darling joins us now from Ararat. Alex, good morning. What's the latest there?
Yeah, good morning, Steph. So the latest is that the fire has burned through 74,000 hectares, which is 20,000 more than yesterday. The emergency warnings that you mentioned, they are split up into two categories. One of them is take shelter now, and that's for places like Kia-Ora and Wollora North, Mafeking, Belfield, Grampians Junction and Halls Gap. For the emergency warnings that are for leave immediately, so for people to get out, include places like Moyston, Langi Logan, Maroona, Tatiyoon and Westmere. There are also a couple of watch and acts not safe to return and monitor conditions as they're changing for areas further away from the Grampians. I'm here at the moment at the Ararat Relief Centre where more than 24 people spent the night. They've brought things like their caravans, you can see some dogs in the background here, and yeah, we're yet to hear exactly how many people are expected to come today. But yeah, it's safe to say it's been a nervous night for a lot of people waiting to hear if their properties are safe. Just on that, from the CFA today, we've heard that at this stage there haven't been any property losses from what they've seen, but there have been fire has impacted outhouses and other farm-related buildings. We're also expecting them to do another impact assessment later today just to determine if any houses have indeed been lost. And aside from that, the other focuses of the CFA today will be on taking advantage of these cooler conditions to basically build containment lines on active edges of this fire ahead of the next hot days, which are expected next week. The outlook for today depends entirely on the weather. We've still got gusty wind, which could see spotting happen, which is where embers from a fire blow into an area and ignite the bushland there. So that's kind of what we've are looking towards today, Steph.
Okay, thanks, Alex. And how did the rest of the state actually fare?
There were fires across the state yesterday. There were two fires that had been burning since last week, which briefly, one of them in Balengarook increased to a watch and act level. That's northwest of Melbourne. It's back down to advice level today, and there are three other advice level fires, including in the areas of Gazette, which is south of the Grampians in sort of the southwest coast area, and then also at the Gerties, which is in the sort of Bass Coast, southeast Victoria area, and also another one just I beg your pardon, that's actually a urban fire that I'm having a look at. So there's, just to recap, sorry Steph, there are three fires that are burning at advice level outside of the Grampians, but definitely the one here in the Grampians is the one that will remain a major focus of the CFA for days and weeks to come. Yeah,
there's certainly so many emergency warnings and watch and acts out there at the moment. So, as you say, best to be across it all on the Vic Emergency app. Thank you so much for your time, Alex Darling in Ararat.
Well, the focus is now on New South Wales as well. Hot and windy weather has led to a total fire ban across Greater Sydney, Greater Hunter, northwestern and northern slopes. Due to the extreme risk of bushfires, open fires, coal and solid fuel barbecues are prohibited. Authorities say people who violate restrictions could face thousands of dollars in fines and even jail time.
An Azerbaijan Airlines flight that crashed in Kazakhstan was downed by a Russian air defence system, according to multiple reports. The jet crashed on Wednesday, killing at least 38 of its 67 passengers. A Kremlin spokesperson says people shouldn't speculate about the cause while an investigation is underway.
Israel has launched a wave of airstrikes on targets in Yemen, including the international airport in the capital Sana'a, with Houthi media claiming at least 3 people have been killed. Israel's military says it's in response to repeated Houthi missile and drone attacks on Israel in recent weeks. Israel targeted Yemen's main airport and a nearby military base, 2 power plants and the road network around a port, which Israel claims were being used by Houthi militants to smuggle in weapons from Iran.
Victoria's Liberal opposition leader John Pesutto is expected to face a challenge for his job today. A motion to readmit exiled MP Moira Deeming is also set to be debated when MPs gather for their meeting. It comes after Ms Deeming won a defamation case against Mr Pesutto, and a previous bid to readmit her to the party room failed last Friday.
Okay, let's take a quick look at global markets now, and the Dow has been trending upwards overnight. Our futures are pointing up as well. The Australian dollar, though, has lost a bit more ground. It's now buying 62.2 US cents.
And the most popular baby names in Australia have been revealed. Isla topped the list for girls this year, with Amelia and Charlotte coming in second and third. And for boys, Oliver has topped the charts for the 11th year running, with Noah, Henry and Leo also winning over new parents.